Patrick Swayze's final words continue to appear in public records, media summaries, and retrospective discussions because they provide a clearly identifiable detail within the documented timeline of his final days. As with many well-known public figures, the concluding moments of his life were followed closely by journalists, biographers, entertainment reporters, and long-term followers of his career. His last recorded statement, directed toward those present during his final moments, has been repeatedly cited due to its role as a fixed point that allows writers and researchers to organize and structure the sequence of events leading up to his passing. This detail has been included in articles, televised features, documentary programs, interviews with individuals familiar with his final days, and various online platforms that examine the chronology of his decline. The repetition serves primarily to maintain continuity in reporting, ensuring that subsequent retellings rely on consistent, factual information. Because Swayze's professional career produced a long list of widely circulated films and television appearances, his final days remained an area of ongoing public interest. Media outlets and researchers discussing his legacy often use his last words as a way to transition from his career achievements to the end of his personal timeline. These factual references are typically presented without interpretation, serving mainly to complete a chronological narrative. The detail is also used within broader discussions of his medical condition, the progression of his illness, and the documented statements made by family members or close associates. Over time, this has resulted in a stable pattern in which his final words function as a repeated marker across multiple forms of media coverage. This consistency is reinforced by the nature of biographical reporting, where specific details, especially those tied to conclusive moments, are used to construct a framework that later sources can replicate. Because his last statement is one of the few closed-ended, verifiable details from his final hours, it is treated as a practical component in recounting his final chapter. Documentary producers, entertainment reporters, and online commentators continue to reference it when creating timelines, analyses, or retrospective pieces that review his career and its conclusion. This practice aligns with the general approach commonly used when summarizing the final period of a public figure's life, to rely on clear, recorded details rather than speculative or interpretive material. As a result, his last words have become an informational anchor point rather than a symbolic or emotional feature. Their persistent use reflects the preference of media and biographical content creators to maintain accuracy by relying on documented statements rather than variable interpretations. This has contributed to the sustained presence of this detail in discussions, articles, and recorded summaries, even many years after his passing. The continued referencing of his final words in new content indicates that the detail functions primarily as a factual endpoint that completes the narrative of his life, his public career, and the overall timeline frequently used by those who examine or revisit his story.